Welcome on the God's chosen one. You are not broken. You're not antisocial. And no, it's not all in your brain. Have you ever entered a busy place and felt like you didn't belong? Like you were physically there, yet disconnected from the people around you? Conversations seem empty. Small chat drains you. And the cacophony of daily exchanges exhausts you. You see how others go about their lives, casually connecting with one another. However, something doesn't seem right. It's as if an invisible barrier separates you from the rest of the world. This emotion is not arbitrary. It is not a personal defect. It's an indication of something deeper. Being introverted or selective about people does not explain why social encounters seem different for you. It's because your consciousness has changed. You're beginning to see and feel things that most people do not notice. And once you realize this fact, there is no turning back. Continue to watch, because what you're about to discover will alter everything. Have you ever felt something was wrong with someone before they said anything, or observed tension in a room before anybody else did? You don't just observe the world. You feel it. Every tone change, underlying emotion, and undercurrent of energy does not escape you, whilst others go through life ignorant. You detect small tremors under the surface. This isn't merely an enhanced sense of perception. It's a totally other way to see reality. Initially, you could have assumed that everyone felt the same way. You thought that others observed the same things you did, and that they too could feel the energy of a location the instant they stepped in. But then you notice something that most people don't. They continue their chats, unconscious of the deeper levels of reality around them. They don't see beyond the surface, and they definitely don't feel what you do. This awareness is both beneficial and detrimental. On the one hand, it helps you to comprehend others on a deeper level. You can see past their words and facades, beyond the carefully maintained facade. You can tell whether someone is actually joyful or simply acting. You can tell when someone is in pain, even if they grin. However, this awareness comes with a cost. As you perceive more, you absorb more. The vibe of a space extends beyond your immediate presence. It permeates into you. When someone is apprehensive, you can sense it. When someone is upset, the emotion remains in your chest. And when an area is packed with chaotic energy, it does not just exist around you. It resides inside you. The more conscious you become, the more difficult it is to distinguish yourself from the vibrations that surround you. And here is when the disconnect starts. Others can laugh off small conversation and continue about their business undisturbed. You find yourself exhausted by useless chats. You want depth, sincerity, and truth. Shallow encounters are painful because you can see behind the words. You sense a lack of connection, an absence of true feeling, and the empty repeating of social scripts. And it leaves you fatigued. This tiredness is more than simply social fatigue. It's an energy overload. Your body, mind, and soul are working hard to digest everything you consume. That is why some individuals leave you feeling exhausted while others energize you. This is why it might take days to recover from a single incident. It's why stillness and isolation feel like breathing, because these are the only moments you can finally hear your own thoughts. Finally, reset. Finally, breathe. Some will describe this as sensitivity. Some would argue that you're just overreacting, overanalyzing, or being too much. However, they're unaware that what they refer to as sensitivity is truly a gift. The capacity to see things that others cannot. It is the reason you notice what is concealed, understand what isn't spoken, and comprehend people on a level beyond what they understand themselves. But there's a reason why this is not frequently discussed. There are certain topics that are just too profound for YouTube. If you want access to secret information and unique insights, register for our free newsletter, Insight Academy. You'll also get a free copy of the Code Balian, a great book of ancient knowledge, but only for a short time. Link is in the description, and this is only the beginning. The more you awaken, the more you'll see that your uneasiness in social situations isn't coincidental. It is not a phase. It's not something you can cure. It is the product of something far deeper, which most people will never encounter. But once you understand why, everything begins to make sense. You go into a room and you can feel it before a single word is spoken. The intensity, anxiety, and unsaid emotions remain in the air. Conversations begin, and within minutes you feel yourself fading, as if your mind is gradually detaching and your soul is crying for an escape. It's not just tiredness. It is something deeper. People tell you that feeling socially fatigued is normal and that you should simply go out more or be more open. But you know better. This is not about introversion or shyness. This is not about loosening up. It's about how most discussions seem like static noise in a world when you want something genuine. Small chat is tiresome. Talk about the weather. We may make plans, or celebrity gossip seem trivial. You aren't disinterested in people. You are disinterested in superficial relationships. Others can glide over surface-level exchanges. You find them tiring. You do not wish to discuss trivial matters. You want to discuss the whys of human behavior, the cosmos, and how people feel, but you never speak it out. But society is not designed for depth. It is designed for ease, for social scripts, and to make interactions courteous and predictable. People are not encouraged to be vulnerable, authentic, or honest. Instead, they perform. They wear masks. They speak what they're supposed to say rather than what they really mean. And you see straight through it. This is why social situations exhaust you. It's not that you despise people. You feel everything. The tense energy of the person across the room, the fake excitement in someone's voice, the tension between two individuals who seem to be all right. Every ounce of wordless energy. You absorb it like a sponge, and it's usually too much. But it's more than simply what you perceive. It is about what you lose. The more energy you receive from others, the less of your own you retain. After a few hours, you're left feeling empty, as if you've been carrying a weight that isn't your own. As if you've been hooked into an electrical outlet that had entirely depleted your power. And this is why you want seclusion. Not because you dislike human ties, but because the majority of them are depleting rather than nourishing. Since being around too many people for too long depletes you, makes you imbalanced, and disconnects you from yourself since the world is noisy and you need stillness. But here's something no one tells you. This is not a weakness. The fact that you feel this way does not imply that anything is wrong with you. It signifies your consciousness has grown. It signifies you've reached a stage in your development when surface-level energy no longer suffices. You're no longer lured to noise. You are attracted to truth. And the deeper you go, the clearer it becomes. Most individuals divert themselves from their inner emptiness by seeking stimulus because they are afraid of being alone with their thoughts. They keep their calendars busy, their talks lighthearted, and their brains engaged. Anything to avoid confronting what's within. But you can't do it any longer. Because once you've seen through the deception, you can't unsee it. Once you've experienced the difference between a genuine relationship and a manufactured one, there's no turning back. This is why some individuals inspire you, while others leave you feeling absolutely exhausted. It's why you prefer being alone. Not because you despise others, but because you refuse to reduce your energy to fit into a world that no longer speaks to you. And it is the truth. Nobody discusses the reality that when you awaken, the world and the people in it change. At first, you could have assumed it was only a phase, that you were going through a difficult time and would soon feel normal again. You try to push yourself to fit in, to participate in meaningless discussions, to ignore the tiredness caused by being among people who didn't actually notice you. But no matter how hard you tried, something inside of you had already changed. And this is the reality. It is not a phase. It is a transition. What you're feeling isn't just social weariness. It isn't simply introversion or emotional exhaustion. It is the outcome of something considerably more profound, a spiritual awakening, a shift in awareness that alters your perception of the world, its inhabitants, and your role within it. For the most of your life, you probably viewed things the way you were taught to perceive them. You followed the norms of interaction, smiled when appropriate, talked when required, and handled social situations in the same way that everyone else did. But something changed. You began to question things. Why do we interact as we do? Why does everything seem so scripted? Why does no one appear to be really present? That inquiry was the first symptom of awareness, because when you wake up, your illusions begin to collapse. You start to notice that most individuals are on autopilot, repeating the same conversations, following the same routines, and living in the same patterns. They're not really thinking. They're not actually feeling. They're just going through life as they've been programmed to. But you began to see through it all. Social interactions are often a performance, as individuals adhere to identities that do not really represent them. And the environment favors appearances above sincerity. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. That's why you feel disconnected. That is why you struggle in formerly comfortable social situations. It is because you're no longer operating on the same frequency. Before, you could endure small chat. Now it's intolerable. Before, you could laugh with the throng. Now you can see the emptiness in it. Before, you could blend in. You now feel like an outsider looking in. This change isn't only occurring in your thoughts. It is occurring in your energies when you wake up. As your vibrational frequency grows, you begin to resonate with a variety of things. You seek depth, truth, and purpose. You need talks that excite your intellect and relationships that nurture your spirit. Anything less feels oppressive. But here's what most folks don't realize. The more you awaken, the more alone you may feel at first. Not because you've become antisocial, but because you're connecting with a greater level of awareness. While the rest of the world is still sleeping, you'll discover that your old pals and favorite spots are no longer the same. I am now feeling drained. That even ordinary encounters, like as traveling to a busy mall or attending a social gathering, are overwhelming. You haven't changed negatively. It's because you're no longer able to withstand the amount of energy you wish to. Most individuals struggle with this, since it makes them feel as if something is wrong with them. You begin to question whether you are too sensitive, distant, or too different. But the fact is that you are developing. The majority of individuals spend their whole lives looking for affirmation, approval, and acceptance from others around them. However, once you awaken, those things no longer have the same weight. You no longer feel compelled to be a part of a system that does not feel right for you. And that is the key. Your soul is screaming for something more. You're not here to just exist. You're here to learn, expand, and connect with others that actually understand you. So, if you're feeling isolated from the world, don't resist it. Embrace it. It indicates that you're shifting. It implies you're letting go of the previous version of yourself that fit into a system that no longer works for you. Most significantly, it means you are entering a new reality in which connections are based on truth. Partnerships feel authentic, and your soul is no longer burdened by the demands of a world that does not understand you. This is not the end of anything. It's the start of something larger. For most of your life, you've undoubtedly been told that you're too sensitive, that you overthink things, and that you read too much into other people's words, emotions, and energy. But what if what you've been raised to feel embarrassed of is really your greatest strength? Most individuals navigate the world logically, based on what they can see, touch, and verify. But you've always relied on your intuition to navigate life. You sense unsaid emotions, subtle energy changes, and the vibrations of others around you. You can tell when someone is lying, even if their statements seem compelling. You understand when someone is suffering, even if they are smiling. And when you enter into a room, you don't only observe the surroundings, you absorb it. At first, you could have assumed that everyone else felt the same way you did. However, as time went, you came to know they don't. Most individuals are totally ignorant of the electromagnetic currents that surround them. They accept words at face value. They disregard the tension in the air and go about their lives without considering the energy they send and receive. But you know better, and there is where the conflict starts. Because when you experience everything, you might easily get overwhelmed. It's easy to get exhausted in crowded areas, absorbing other people's feelings as if they were your own, to feel the weight of energy that others do not perceive. And the worst part, most of the time, you're not even aware it's occurring. That's why, following social engagements, you often feel fatigued, as if you've been carrying a burden that was never yours to begin with. This is why being around some individuals drains you totally, even if they said nothing unpleasant. This is why you seek isolation, not because you despise others, but because it's the only way you can hear your own energy again. But here's the deal. This is not a weakness. It's a unique and strong talent. Most individuals live their lives uninformed, alienated from themselves and the world around them. However, you have an awareness that enables you to see past the surface, to discern what is genuine and what isn't, to interpret human relationships in a manner that others cannot. This is why you immediately know who you may trust and who you should avoid. Why do certain individuals make you feel instantaneously at ease, while others make you feel uncomfortable without you understanding why? Your energy catches up on things your head cannot always explain. And in a world full of deceit, where people wear masks and say things they don't intend, this skill is priceless. However, like with any gift, there is an expectation of accountability. If you don't learn to handle it, it might seem like a burden rather than a source of strength. That's why some days you feel absolutely exhausted without understanding why. Why can certain surroundings seem suffocating, even when nothing is wrong? Why? After spending time with some individuals, you get emotionally and physically fatigued since you are not just processing your own energy. You're also bearing the weight of everyone else's. So what is the solution? It is not to isolate oneself from the world. It is not about ignoring your talent or suppressing what makes you unique. It's about learning to regulate it. You would not leave your front door open for anybody to come in and grab everything they wanted. But energetically, that is precisely what you have been doing. You have been consuming everything without screening any limitations. But that is changing today, because once you recognize your energy sensitivity as a strength, you can begin to guard, improve, and utilize it effectively. You learn how to establish boundaries, both physically and energetically. You become aware of the distinction between your feelings and the emotions you've absorbed from others. You stop devoting your attention to those who drain you, and instead surround yourself with those who nourish you. And now is when everything changes. Because once you have control of your energy, you no longer feel as if the world is too much to bear. You no longer feel fatigued after each conversation. You stop questioning yourself and start believing your feelings. Most importantly, you stop perceiving your sensitivity as a problem because it never was. It was a power. You simply weren't sure how to utilize it. For so long, you've been going through life without recognizing how much energy you've been wasting. Every talk, each encounter, every second spent taking in the feelings of others. Everything adds up, and without realizing it, you've been carrying a weight that was never supposed to be yours. But something has changed. You're no longer simply surviving. You're waking up. You realize that your energy is precious and that not everyone has access to it. that the weariness you've been experiencing isn't only from social encounters. It stems from a lack of limits that has left you completely exposed to the world. And that's when everything changes. Because once you start guarding your energy, you won't feel depleted all the time. You cease holding feelings that aren't yours. You no longer feel overwhelmed by the world because, for the first time, you regain control. The first step is to recognize what belongs to you and what is not. Have you ever felt worried after leaving a discussion, even if nothing had gone wrong? Have you ever been unexpectedly depressed, annoyed, or fatigued for no reason? That is not you. It is the energy that you have absorbed. And until you deliberately release it, it remains. It weights you down. It distorts your ideas, feelings, and even your sense of yourself. That is why safeguarding your energy is more than simply crucial. It is crucial. Begin by being conscious of who you spend time with. Energy is infectious. When you surround yourself with individuals who are continuously grumbling, pessimistic, or emotionally unstable, their energy seeps into you. It influences your emotions, mentality, and whole state of being. The fact is that not everyone deserves access to your energies. Some folks merely take, leaving you feeling empty with nothing in return. These are the individuals who drag you down with their issues but never seek answers, who dump their emotions on you but never accept responsibility for them, and who keep you in a state of tiredness and depletion. But you have a choice. You do not need to be accessible to everyone. You don't have to be the emotional dump for those who are unwilling to change. You are free to leave negative talks, relationships, and settings. And this does not make you selfish. It makes you smart because every time you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what replenishes you. Upbeat talks, energized people, and light-filled environments. And in touch with yourself. The second stage is to ground oneself after absorbing energy from others. It might make you feel unbalanced and alienated from yourself. That is why it is important to have habits that restore your equilibrium. Spending time in nature, walking barefoot on the ground, meditating for even 5 minutes, envisioning your energy being cleaned and healed. These modest gestures may seem insignificant, yet they are effective because they help you distinguish who you are from what you've received. The third phase involves generating an energy shield. Think of it like shutting your doors at night. You don't do it because you are paranoid. You do that because it is common sense. The same goes for your energy before entering a social atmosphere. Take a minute to envision a protective barrier around you. Imagine it as a light barrier, powerful and unbreakable, keeping out any unwanted energy. Set your intention. I have complete control over what enters my area. I'll let go of everything that no longer serves me, and you will begin to sense a change. The identical chambers that were previously drained. You will not feel so overwhelmed. The same persons who fatigued you will no longer have the same impact, because for the first time, you have control over your energy. And that is the key. You were never designed to carry the weight of the world. You were never supposed to carry other people's feelings as if they were yours. You are here to embody your own energy, truth, and power. So stop giving away your energy so easily. Protect, appreciate, and consider it as sacrosanct. Because once you start doing this, everything changes. Every awakening comes with the realization that you no longer fit into the world the way you once did. Conversations that previously amused you now seem hollow. The individuals you previously felt close to suddenly seem distant. The life you formerly led now seems like a fading recollection of who you used to be. At first, it is disturbing. You wonder why you feel so detached when the things that used to bring you pleasure no longer do. You begin to doubt yourself. Am I changing too much? Am I losing myself? Why am I feeling so alone in this? But here is the reality. You aren't losing yourself. You're discovering yourself. This is what spiritual progress feels like when your consciousness grows. Your world changes. Things that were once commonplace now seem alien. People who used to agree with you now seem to be from another universe. In many respects, they do, because awakening entails more than just viewing the world differently. It's about moving into a whole other vibe. It's normal to feel alone at first, but you're not alone right now. People all throughout the globe are seeing the same transformation. People who are becoming more aware of their true selves. There are others who share your feelings. This connection, the same desire for depth, the same desire to be rid of the illusions of the past. They may be invisible to you, but they do exist. And as you continue your quest, you'll begin to locate them. Because the more you align with your truth, the more the universe connects you with people who share it. However, such alignment comes with a decision, a dilemma between clinging to the past and completely becoming who you are intended to be. Many individuals oppose this development. They battle it. They attempt to push themselves back into their previous lifestyles, friendships, and habits. They persuade themselves that if they simply strive harder, they may be able to get things back to normal. But deep down, they understand the reality. You can't go back because you're not supposed to. This path is not about trying to squeeze yourself into areas you've outgrown. It's about embracing the life that awaits you. That involves letting go. Let go of the impulse to force relationships that no longer work. Getting rid of the shame that comes with outgrowing someone. Let rid of the notion that isolation implies loneliness, when in actuality, it refers to clarity. Because when you quit attempting to cling on to what no longer serves you, you make room for what is actually intended for you. And that's when things begin to shift. You will begin to attract folks who understand you without explanation. People who want the same depth, honesty, and sincerity. People that not only tolerate, but also foster your enthusiasm. And you'll discover you've never actually been alone. You were just looking for the proper individuals all along. Do not oppose this metamorphosis. Embrace it. Trust that the universe is leading you precisely where you need to go. Believe that each person, event, and moment of solitude is preparing you for something better. Because the individuals that are intended for you exist and are also looking for you. And when the moment is perfect, you will meet. There will be a point when everything makes sense. When loneliness, tiredness, and separation from the world you once knew become less of a burden and more of a revelation. You'll look back on the times you felt out of place, when you questioned your own sanity and realized you weren't damaged. You were awakened. You were never intended to blend in. You were never designed to suppress your truth in order to make others comfortable. You were never supposed to darken your light in order to blend in with a society that values artificiality. You were supposed to look past the illusion and experience the energy currents that most people miss. To handle life with an insight that distinguishes you. And although that awareness may seem weighty at times, it is also your greatest asset. Because the world needs individuals like you. People who don't just follow the script. People who question, search, and feel in ways that most others may never experience. People who refuse to accept superficial relationships, who seek truth, and who provide depth and true city to a world that sorely needs it. So don't try to squeeze yourself into areas that weren't designed for you. Don't suppress your knowledge just because others don't grasp it. Don't tell yourself that you need to change to be accepted. The right individuals have the appropriate connections, the correct experiences. They will come, but only if you are loyal to yourself. You are not granted this insight by mistake. You were given it because you are destined to utilize it to create, inspire, lead, and travel a difficult but unquestionably genuine road. And when you accept that reality and stand completely in your own authority, you will know that this path was never about seclusion. It was about change. Because the more you identify with your genuine self, the more others will notice you, understand you, and speak the same soul language. And that's when you'll realize you were never really alone. You had just woken up. But there's more to this awakening than we can discuss here. Some information is too important and complex to discuss openly. That's why we founded Insights Academy, a platform where we expose what can't be spoken on YouTube. Sign up for free and you will get a copy of The Cable Alien for a limited time. The link is in the description, and if you like this movie, please let us know by commenting. I got it. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.